Well, good afternoon, class. Today is July 21st, and this is module number 11 over chapter 11, Committed Romantic Relationships. A couple of things. First of all, if you've at all watched the news, you're aware that we had a tragedy here on Thursday evening, I guess it'd be Thursday night, Friday morning, however you want to look at it, in Colorado. I've been really watching the coverage. Probably, if we had another week of class, I would make a discussion about this and watch the media coverage. And I'll be doing that in my public speaking class for sure. Interestingly, I used to live in Aurora, Colorado. When I said I worked in Denver, it was actually Aurora, which is a suburb of Denver. And I'm pretty sure I would have gone to that theater while I was living there. So that's kind of interesting. Well, it's unfortunate and sad. But anyway, hopefully this doesn't taint the Dark Knight Rises movie forever. I'm definitely going to go see it. I've been really excited about that. Second thing, as you can tell, I'm wearing a Mizzou shirt today. I know I've worn some OU shirts in the past. I wore a DHS polo one day. Since it's Saturday, it's the weekend, so I'm wearing whatever I want. I'm not going to OU, not going to Oklahoma State, and definitely not going to DHS. So, anyway, so I'm wearing a Mizzou shirt today just because it's the weekend. So I'll mix it up a little bit. Also, as you know, it's Saturday, and it's like we've got a heat wave. It's like 108 outside. So hopefully you're either at the pool today or in air conditioning. I was at the pool earlier. Now I'm in air conditioning. Recording this for you. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about the exam. The exam will be next Wednesday and Thursday of the following week. So this Thursday or next Thursday, however you want to look at it. The next Wednesday, Thursday, it'll be the same format, 50 questions, multiple choice, true, false. You'll have the 2 days to do it. You'll turn it in, then I'll grade it and get you the final grade. We won't have any assignments for this module or module number 12. I'll just give you the information. So that's the exam. Same kind of deal. If you have questions, you can email me, or I'll definitely put a discussion up on the discussion board. So let's talk a little about committed romantic relationships. As usual, or I should say not as usual, but this is actually one of my favorite things to talk about because people get really into it. As I mentioned, I had a student who was married 7 times in my class. So it's the discussions are really interesting because people get really into them. Because everyone's had a committed romantic relationship, so we talk about it a little bit. But all right, so let's talk about this. As I said, this is chapter 11. Everything that I've had from the second half of the material, chapters 7 through 12, which is what the test will be over, is due this week. Also, tell your friends I'm teaching a hybrid version of this class in the fall. It'll be on the Wednesdays at 11:30. So that's that. So let's talk about a little bit difference between committed romantic relationships and other types of relationships. The main difference is that it's a primary relationship. I mean, we do have polyamorous people, but generally people have one romantic partner, or at least that's to be expected. If you have multiple, there's issues with that. And the other thing is it's a continuing part of your life. You don't you change friends. You may have a best friend now, but your best friend in 10 years may not be the same person. I mean, romantic partners change and come and go a little bit, but the idea is that a romantic partner kind of continues. And it's kind of exclusive. We can have multiple friends. The other thing is that you change your life based upon romantic partners. Nobody moves for a best friend. Well, it's very rare. Whereas romantic partners, you do move. You see people move. If they get a new job in another city, you do move to join them in another city, and that's the main distinction. Dimensions are passion, commitment, and intimacy. Those are kind of unique things that distinguish them from friendships. Styles of loving, there'll be a lot of that on the test. We get really into that in the face-to-face classes. So look at those and be able to find those in the book. And I really like to have a really nice activity to do this with love styles, but I can't really do that because in an online class. But I have a really interesting activity related to that. Development of romantic relationships, there's growth, which is where the romantic relationship grows. There's navigating it, and then there's the deterioration. You only have really one romantic relationship that continues forever. Otherwise, they deteriorate. You either deteriorate or it continues forever. So, growth. It's kind of you have individually, then you have like kind of invitational, hey, you want to go do this. Exploratory, where you explore other people's interests. Intensifying, and then you kind of revise the relationship, and then there's intimate bonding, where there's a connection, a bond. That's the final stage, where there's an actual bond. Navigation, there's not much to say about that, but there's information in the book. Deterioration is where you have kind of a just it's the where you become more of two individuals compared to like a a unit, like a married couple or a couple versus being two people. And here we talk about resurrection, where and then this is the deterioration process, and then I talk about some breakups situations and why people break up their romantic relationships. This is also really interesting. So that's the deterioration part of it. As usual, the book gives you a little pep talk for romantic relationships. One thing I always talk about is engaging in dual perspective. Next one is practice safe sex. The book talks a lot about safe sex. I'm not going to talk to you about that. This is adult education, but that's that. Manage conflict constructively, and then adapting your communication and maintain long distance relationship. If you have a long distance relationship, you adapt to that. My neighbor, his girlfriend actually lives in the UK now. I think she's coming over, and they met here, but that's always interesting. She's nice. Anyway, next slide is about practicing safe sex. We're not going to talk about. We know questions on the test about safe sex, so don't worry about that. Then we talk about why managing conflict is important in romantic relationships. If you don't have a skill there, then it usually leads to some sort of either breaking up or some sort of, it talks about violence and abuse. So managing conflict is important. Either the relationship ends or becomes a destructive relationship. That's all I have for chapter 11. There's no assignment this week, so just make sure you turn in the assignments from the second half. There's one from 7. There's 4 assignments, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Next time, we're going to talk about family relationships. That's probably going to be on Monday. And as I said, tell your friends I'm teaching a hybrid version of this class in the fall. And the second exam will be on Wednesday and Thursday. And the reason I'm not doing it Friday, because I don't think people are going to be working on the exam on Friday evening. So I'd rather, and then that'll give me that way the class is over on Friday. And then we can all move on to the fall semester. That's all I have for today. Hopefully you're staying cool on this 108-degree Saturday. Have a good weekend and take care. Bye.